Yeah, so before I transitioned to real estate investing, I owned a couple different companies in the area, a lawn care company and an event rental company as well. And I kind of discovered real estate through a podcast, Bigger Pockets podcast, and that just did wonders for what I was able to learn and the knowledge that they had on that platform. So kind of in that transition of me considering getting into real estate, I had a degree in business, and then I went on over to UW Stout in Menominee. They've got a real estate and property management program there to pursue a degree in that. And so I took a lot of information and knowledge and stuff out of them as well over there.
Check it out.
Yeah, when I analyzed my first property, investment property in the area, and I realized that you could make like $300 or $400 per unit a month by basically just maintaining the place. That was a pretty big moment. That is like, man, if you could have 10 of these or 100 of these, you know how well you could do. And I really like just kind of the business model around it as well. It seemed like something pretty fun to get into.
Check it out.
I'm in my fourth year of investing now. It's had a lot of challenges to it, and there's good upside, but there's been a lot of stuff that you need to have really thick skin. A lot of times we'll go on in and acquire a property that needs a lot of transition. It'll need to transition a tenant, as well as the property as a whole typically needs a lot of work. So you definitely have to have like thick skin to be in the business, and you've got to be willing to do the things that not a lot of other people really can do or want to do. It's still hard even for myself doing it. Nothing's ever the same. There was just little stuff. Had to get a second phone number because somebody was writing my phone number on keys and placing them throughout a city, and it was probably a disgruntled tenant or something that had my cell number, because that's the best way to get a hold of me. If there's something that broke down in the middle of the night, I'm like, call or text me, so they've got my direct number. But they were placing keys throughout the city, and so other people were calling me, and it's a form of harassment, I guess, but it was more of a pain than anything because my phone rings enough as it is. But yeah, there's just been a lot of weird challenges to stuff, and every single day is different.
Check it out.
There's a lot of risks associated with it. A lot of times, especially in today's market, when we're going in and trying to acquire a property, a lot of times you might not do an appraisal, or you might not have an inspection, and you'll be on site for maybe half an hour to an hour looking at the building, the structure, kind of the quality of the property as a whole. But then past that, as soon as you're under contract, you might not be going back there every single day. So, when you don't have a professional opinion, a secondary opinion, there can be a lot of risk that you expose yourself to. And, no matter how much you've done it, there's always something else that's going to catch you off guard. You just got to be able to prepare for those and be able to mitigate risks. Like the property that we're sitting in now, it's got central air, but it doesn't have AC. So it's got heat. But I've never bought a place. When I see baseboard heating, I associate, okay, there's probably a window AC somewhere. We've got some college rentals with that, but I've never associated, well, they could have central heat, but then they wouldn't have AC. So it's like, it was a $6,000 cost that, we figured there'd be some costs that come on up, but every now and then it's like, well, at this point you're already in it and you already own the place. And so you got to get it done and just bite the cost on it.
Check it out.
Well, one thing that I wish I would have done from the start was just trusted my gut when hiring contractors, but there's a lot of different things to consider. A lot of times there's a tight deadline. They've got to be able to make that deadline. But one thing I've learned within the vetting process, if they're driving a long ways, if they're a smaller company, not a big company, if they're driving a long ways or they have a lot of availability, it can kind of throw up red flags of, well, most contractors are pretty busy nowadays, so why aren't you busy, or why are you driving so far away? Because it's all about their options and stuff as well. But just working with them in general, I've got a sense of feel of what should be done. And now it's to the point of, I've got some people, but I need more people. So once you can speak their language a little bit more, it's a little bit easier to vet them. And if they know what you're talking about, then, you can get a pretty good gauge if they do as well or not.
Check it out.
Yeah, knowledge and networking are the biggest things for sure, no matter what you really want to do. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff you can do in real estate investing. You can do wholesaling, flipping, developments, long-term holding, Airbnb. There's so many different avenues, but the more people you know and the more information you know, it those are definitely pretty big factors, especially when like negotiating as well too. If you have more information, you're going to win that negotiation because that's where the power lies. And there would be days like when I was starting off that I'd say, you know what, I've got a free day this Friday. I'm going to go out and meet with 10 different banks, or I'm going to meet with 10 different realtors just to get my name out there, because you never know. And so it definitely doesn't hurt the more people you know and the more information that you know. Everything else can be figured out at a later point.
Check it out.
I enjoy working for myself a lot more than somebody else. I've always had that entrepreneurial kind of itch. But I mean, if you can find a better way to do something, or a more efficient way to do something, you're the one that gets rewarded, not your boss. You go from trading your time for money to being task oriented. And so that's something that really, hit me pretty hard, and just focusing on the tasks instead of the time.
Check it out.
I really like the variability of the income in this industry specifically because it's so scalable. So going back to like the previous business I owned as a lawn care owner, to go from a company that does $50,000 a year to $500,000 a year would be a lot of work. To do that with rental properties, it's pretty easily systemized. And so, if you can go from 2 units, once you've done 2 units or 4 units or 6 units, it's basically the same. It's just you're adding in economies of scale at that point. And so you can really scale it to whatever you want to do. A lot of people want to do it for their retirement. Once they hit a specific number, then they're done and that's all that they need. I personally love and enjoy the process of it. And so I'll probably be doing it forever. I've had a lot of people ask me, okay, well, when's enough going to be enough? And it's just, I enjoy the process so much. I know guys that are just really old that are still doing it, and it's because they love doing it. They don't need to, but they choose to because they love doing it.
Check it out.
I've been really happy with kind of the path that I've taken. I don't think I would do anything differently. I'm pretty intense in wanting to grow the portfolio pretty quickly here and do it for the long run. But I know what a lot of people say is they wish they bought more and they wish they bought sooner, because money and time, those are valuable resources. And if you've got time on your side, you've got a big advantage, that's for sure.